So sometimes you find that the practice of the religion becomes a habit. The practice of the religion becomes a ritual. Islam becomes an identity marker for us. I identify myself as a Muslim. I don't necessarily have an Islamic way of life. Islam becomes a culture. I practice Islam as a culture. This is part of my culture, right? Not Islam as a thought. Not Islam as a way of life. Not Islam as the main vehicle for my improvement. Sometimes we even think that the Canadian dream is like that. Right? That I should have, mathalan, a good career, a good education, a good house, a good family. And then wouldn't it be nice if my son also said his salat and my daughter also wore her hijab? Sticking to the bare minimum, right? The main goal is having that nice house. The main goal is having a good education. But along with it, it's also nice if our children say their salat and also wear their hijab. That's the Canadian dream, isn't it? So you find that whenever cultural Islam came to North America, it got wiped out. It never survived. You give it 1, maximum 2, sometimes 3 generations, and then it's gone. People from West Africa came as slaves to the shores of America in the middle of the 17th or 18th century. After 2 or 3 generations, nothing remained but Islamic names. I don't know how many of you are aware that Shiaism came to islands like Trinidad and Tobago. And today some of their practices also go back to the practices of people who came from India in the month of Muharram. They have a practice called Husay that starts in the beginning of the month of Muharram. But if you look at the way it is being practiced today, one feels even ashamed from the mimbar to talk about it. Okay. You know, it'd be interesting to even look at our communities today. And sometimes I wonder to myself that we've had waves of immigration. So when you have waves of immigration, it sometimes masks some of our deficiencies. Because every time you come in the masjid, you see, mashallah, it's full. People are there. People are praying. People are commemorating the Azaa of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. So then we say to ourselves, we must be doing something right. Our approach is the right approach. So sometimes I have a thought experiment for myself. I say, I wonder if we could follow the lives of the first immigrants that came to Canada, those who came in the 70s, the early 70s, right? And they came here for the purpose of career, and they came here for the purpose of education, to have a good life, alhamdulillah. Right? I wonder if we can follow their generation, their children, and their children's children, their grandchildren. How many of them come to the masjid? How many of them wear hijab? How many of them have a strong Islamic identity? You know, that's the real marker on whether what we're doing is right and working, or what we're doing is not working. Right? Do we have the ability to pass on our religion to the next generation? Or do we not have the ability to pass on this religion to the next generation? Right? So sacred communities are not going to be built by cultural Muslims. Sacred communities are going to be built by active Muslims. Muslims who love Islam. Muslims who have a purpose in life. Muslims who are committed to the teachings of the Holy Prophet. Yuhibbuna, they love to purify themselves.